Well, over the weekend, the Albuquerque Fire Department responded to 6 residential structure fires, and at least 50% of those were related to home heating appliances or in an effort to stay warm. All of these fires occurred in the early morning hours, and most while the occupants were sleeping. And a $10 smoke detector saved more than one person this weekend. And with today's household furnishings, the time to escape is counted in seconds and not minutes. And that's why it's so important to have smoke detectors that are properly positioned and operational so they can alert occupants when they're sleeping to get out of a house fire while they still have a chance to survive. And it's that time of year that people start their home heating appliances to keep warm, and it's important that our residents take a few precautions to keep their families safe and prevent fires. Just so you know, home heating equipment is the leading cause of residential fire deaths, and the majority of these deaths occur in homes that don't have an operational smoke detector. If you have an operational smoke detector that's properly positioned in the home, your chances of dying in a fire are reduced by more than 50%. I want to say a few words about smoke detectors. They need to be installed in every home, and every level of the home, outside of each bedroom and inside each bedroom. And we want people to change their batteries twice a year. The best time to do that is during daylight saving time, which is this Sunday, November 4th. And you should replace your smoke detectors at least every 10 years. And when you do hear that alarm, get out and get out fast and call 911 once you safely get out of the home. Which leads me into escape plans. It's essential that everybody have at least 2 ways out of the house. And you should practice and know that way out. And everybody in the family should practice that, from the adults to the children that live there as well. Should practice this at least once a month. In fact, in one of these fires this weekend, an elderly woman was trapped inside of a home. She couldn't get out of the front door, and when she went to the back door, it had a double key lock on the door, and she didn't have the key to get out. So elderly persons might need a little more assistance in being fire wise and preventing fires from occurring in the first place. I'd like to introduce our Fire Marshal, Curtis Green, to say a few more words. Curtis?
Thank you. Well, like the Chief said, I'm Curtis Green with the City Fire Marshal's Office. In addition to the smoke detectors, we have some safety tips that we want to bring to the public with the heating season coming up. First of all, we with all the heaters and all the heating equipment that we have in our houses, we strongly suggest that when we're using this heating equipment, that we go ahead and maintain a 3-foot perimeter around the heating devices, and that reduces the amount of heat radiated to other materials. So we look for having a 3 feet radius around the heating equipment from combustible material that has the possibility of starting on fire. In addition to that, we would suggest that you never, if you haven't got your heater started up yet, we suggest that you don't use your stove or your oven to go ahead and heat your residence, because that produces lots of carbon monoxide, which is also another issue around this time of the season. In addition to that, we suggest that you go ahead, when you do start up your heating appliance, that you have it checked by a certified plumber to make sure that there's no cracks in the firebox or anything like that, which would release some carbon monoxide into the household. Remember to, when you're using these portable heaters, that when you're using portable heaters, to go ahead and make sure you turn them off in the evening when you go to bed, so that way they don't cause any problems while you're sleeping. In addition to that, if you're using a portable heater of some type, make sure that it has a tip tamper, so that way if it tips over, it doesn't continue to stay on, it shuts off. And never use heating equipment that petroleum based in a house, because again that produces lots of carbon monoxide in the household and could be deadly and hazardous to the persons inside. In addition to that, we want to make sure that, like I spoke earlier about the heating, we're using petroleum. You want to make sure that you check you have not only a smoke detector, but a carbon monoxide detector. So that way, if you do have a problem within your heating box, or it's cracked or does become cracked throughout the year of use, that it does detect some carbon monoxide in the house and gives you a warning. It's much the same as a smoke detector and costs about the same. It's relatively cheap safety for you and your family to provide you early detection of carbon monoxide, which is also a deadly killer this time of the year. Thank you. Yes?
Dampers?
Yes.
A lot of folks at home might not know what that would look like on a house heater.
Well, if you're out going to buy one, what you can do is you can read the box itself. It usually says on there, if you're buying a new one, it says tip resistant. So what happens if it tips over, it shuts off. If not, I suggest that you call the manufacturer. If you already have one, give them the model number that you have when you call the manufacturer, and they'll advise you on if it's provided or not.
And almost every fire department across the United States has a relationship with the American Red Cross. The American Red Cross is one of our response partners. They really assist residents after the fire if they need somewhere to stay or to help recover from the effects of fire. And here to speak on behalf of the American Red Cross is New Mexico CEO Rahim Balsera. Sir, and they'll want you to spell your name. Sure.
Thank you, Chief. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rahim Balsara, R-A-H-I-M B-A-L-S-A-R-A. The biggest threat of disaster that every American family faces is not from floods, tornadoes, or hurricanes, but single-family fires every single day. Right here in the state of New Mexico, American Red Cross, in partnership with the fire department, responds to single-family fires virtually every day. And that tells you that as season changes, that number even gets higher. We, American Red Cross, is always available to help the victims of fire, not only after the disaster, but in the community in general, to prepare them and educate them and provide them with materials to respond to single-family fires, or how to be safe from getting in situations like these. The American Red Cross responds 2 easy steps to help protect your home and loved ones from fire. One, as the Chief mentioned, get a smoke alarm. And second, create a fire escape plan. Smoke alarms save lives. Working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in homes in half. Place your smoke detectors on every level of your home, including bedrooms. Test your smoke alarms at least once a month and replace batteries at least once a year. American Red Cross strongly recommends that each family has a fire escape plan, and this should ensure that all household members have at least 2 ways of getting out of any room or your home. We also encourage everyone to designate a place outside of your home in case there's a fire and everybody escapes separately, so you can get back with your family. Practice escaping from your homes at least twice a year and at different times of the day. And lastly, we strongly encourage to teach your household members to learn how to stop, drop, and roll in case their clothing should catch fire. Again, American Red Cross is there to respond to fires and to help the families after the disaster has struck them, to help them with food, shelter, clothing, medication, eyeglasses, and emotional support. Any questions that you may have?
They show up to a lot of these scenes, like the incident over the weekend with the 88-year-old, and are there to help. So many times you may see situations that could have been prevented, stuff too close to a wood stove. What is your reaction when you show up and you see so much damage when it was a lack of a smoke detector or just putting things too close to the heating devices when you guys give so many warnings and tips?
American Red Cross is committed to giving people information they need to reduce the risk of home fires. So it's always very sad to see when tragedies like these happen. But American Red Cross, when they respond to single-family fires, are primarily concerned with providing and meeting the emergency needs of the families and making sure that they can get back on their feet as quickly as possible by providing the assistance that we do, the emotional support, by connecting them to the resources in the community. We hope that those are the things that will continue to reduce the amount of fires and get the families affected by fires back on their feet quickly.
Rahim, this is a bunch of 6 fires within 4 or 5 days. You guys do a lot of these fires and provide services. Your reaction as an organization toward this cluster, how impressive is it? Is it unusual?
Unfortunately, this is the time of the year when you have change of season and people use alternative methods of heating their homes, and you do tend to see fires go up. And that's one of the reasons we have October as the Fire Safety Month and a Fire Safety Week, during which time we do a lot of education to the community and give them materials so they can be safe as the season changes.
Have you seen a run like this before in Albuquerque?
There are ups and downs that we see with the fire, and we deal with that, and we actually have volunteers who respond to these fires on a daily basis, staffed accordingly to manage these kinds of ups and downs.
Sure. Well, I'd like to bring up another point the young lady brought up, and that was with fireplaces and wood stoves. In addition to having the home heating elements, we do have a lot of houses here that have wood stoves and fireplaces, and we would suggest creating a greater distance than the 3 feet for those types of heating equipment, and that's just because they radiate a lot more heat than a regular heater would. In addition to that, we would make sure that we would suggest that you go ahead and have the chimneys and the flues checked and inspected and cleaned to, if need be, to remove any of the excessive creosote and check for damage on the flue itself to make sure that it has no cracks in it. Because just like the firebox, it does have a tendency to increase the fire risk if there is damage on those areas. But getting back to the Fire Prevention Month and Fire Prevention Week, like Mr. Rahim indicated, we have at the Fire Marshal's office, we talk to approximately 7,000 children every year between the ages, between the school ages of kindergarten through 5th grade. And what we do is we send out inspectors to go to these schools and provide assemblies for these children to talk to them on the making sure that they let their parents know that they need to have smoke detectors in the house, and that this is the time to change the batteries and make sure that they're inspecting their smoke detectors once monthly. We also make sure that they're aware of their stop, drop, and roll, to make sure that they have 2 ways out of their residence, and that they have a meeting place so that way they can meet all in a certain area if they do have a possible fire in their house. We want to make sure that these children are aware, and we know the family life is really busy, and we want to make sure that these children get out to their families and remind their parents that they need this type of practice in the home to make sure that they get these fire drills and fireplaces and stuff inspected and checked. So like I said, we've talked to right around 6,000 folks, and I believe we still got about a week and a half left to go to complete what we have going.
You talk about having your heater checked professionally before you turn it on. Explain to people out there exactly how fast the fire can go up. If things aren't checked out beforehand, you turn it on, maybe you're gone for the day. Explain how quickly something could go wrong and result in a fire.
Well, as the chief mentioned, with the new type of furnishings we have and all the foam and plastics that are available in the household nowadays, once a fire does get started, as the chief mentioned, it's minutes before the house is fully involved with fire. So it's imperative that you have an early warning device like a smoke detector or a carbon monoxide detector or something like that in the household, so that way it gives you that early warning, so that way you can prepare and get all your family and loved ones outside.
So you should have smoke detectors in the hallway and in each bedroom.
Yeah,
and also carbon monoxide?
Yes, what you need is you need to have smoke detectors in the hallway leading up to the sleeping areas, in addition to one inside the bedroom. So that way it'll find it. If it starts in the bedroom, it'll get it before it gets into the hall.
Kind of a personal thing. My smoke detector is connected into the alarm system of the house.
Yes.
Is that okay, or does it need to be separately powered?
No, those are okay. They all have an expiration date on them. So if the ones that are hardwired into the house, you need to make sure that they're still good. They have an average lifespan, like the chief said, of 10 years. But I would go based on what the manufacturer indicates on when the replacement should be. But then again, even some of the ones that are hardwired in, they do have a battery backup that you should be changing, because if the power goes out, then you lose all that protection. So I would make sure that you take it off, make sure you check it, test it, make sure you replace the battery if need be.